week one of college football recap. Long weekend for everyone, long weekend for the back porch as there was traveling going on to be able to experience week one of college football together. Back porch Scott with you, like I said, going solo here. A quick show for you on this fine, what is it, Tuesday morning. If you are listening to this right now, my God, thank God you do not have to watch the rest of that Clemson versus Duke game. That's currently on right now as I'm recording, and it is a snooze fest. So hopefully I won't have to update you much on that game. Clemson minus 13 and a half looks like it's dead. The over might be dead. I think we have 13 points and we're very, very close to halftime. So we're going to review everything of week one, the porch plays, the card that is 11-2 currently. Humble brag by me. Think I might be the best gambler of all time in week one. Don't look at history, but look at this year's card. Only 11-2. Hopefully 13-2 at the end of the night, but we might need a miracle to be worked to be 13-2. But I'll settle for 11-4 or 12-3, but would love the 13-2 to finish. For a quick recap of what's going to happen on this show, we will go over the big games of week one. We have the porch plays to review, which was awesome. A couple guys on Instagram. I'll get that graphic up here in a second. We'll do some stock up and stock down after week one. Don't want to overreact to anything, but there is some stuff worth overreacting for. And then we'll get into a little bit of a preview for week two of the college football slate. Luckily for us, the college football gods and schedule makers are easing us in. That was a long week one, starting on Thursday night, getting games Friday night, all day Saturday, a great game on Sunday night football for the last time before NFL takes the Sunday night spotlight. And then our snooze fest to kind of recap the long weekend and let everyone go to bed early in Clemson versus Duke that's going on right now. So I'm going to share my screen for everyone that's watching on YouTube. Shout out to you. We're gonna go over the porch plays this weekend. Hokey alerts and SEC Capital on Instagram. Make sure you're also following us. Back Porch OC on Instagram. Look at the plays here. Hokey alert 2-0. SEC Capital 2-0 as well. And then the back porch 9-4. Our SEC Capital friends taking Alabama minus 38.5. That was a lock. Quarterback played very well over there for Bama. Didn't think that that one was in doubt too much, but Alabama did get off to a little bit of a shaky start on points, but once they got rolling, it was easy. Auburn, UMass, man, Auburn looked really good. So shout out to Jake. Shout out to SEC Capital. I think they both had that one on their plays. And then here we go with the Hokie alert. Virginia Tech minus 16. That is a great play. And then the over in their game as well. Like we loved seeing overs hit, especially with the new rules of the clock, which was very hard. If you look at the spreads this week, they are reflecting the play clock, which is awesome. Might be able to see some more backdoor covers of the over in the future, which is awesome. Then here we go with Back Porch Nate. Shout out to him for all of these great graphics that he does. Lock of the week, Tennessee minus 28.5. We both had that. Me and him had that. I had that on my card. Tulane minus 6.5 was also a play. FSU plus 2.5. We'll get into the FSU game here in a little bit, but what a spread, 2.5 neutral site in Florida. Great cover by FSU. It was not really a sweat after halftime. TCU minus 20.5. Probably the most disappointing uh, spread for TCU bettors, TCU fans. Over of the week, this was so much fun. Western Kentucky USF. I think it finished at 66. It was 65 or 66. It was so close from hitting. So fun one for Nate. We will root for 70 plus every single week, and I will guarantee that. Then Jake, he did think that UMass was going to cover on the spread 35.5. He didn't have faith in Auburn, but I think that he will take his team looking better. And then the snooze fest of Thursday night over 45.5 for Utah and Florida. Florida, we'll get into that in a second, but Jesus. And then humble brag here, 5-0, great by me. Lock of the week, FSU, LSU over 56.5. It did not look good there at the end, but then FSU just pounded it in and then LSU scored again. So it really wasn't a sweat, but it was a real sweat there for a second. Tennessee minus 28.5. Great call by us. Utah minus 4.5. Didn't even like worry about that one Thursday night. And then a fun one, Nebraska plus 7.5. Poor Nebraska fans, man. They thought they had a win locked up. They were winning that game for 58 minutes and then blew it right at the end. And then this game was just bonkers. The Colorado TCU over 59.5. Geez, I think it was in like the third quarter with 8 minutes left that one hit. So shout out to us. Shout out to the Hokie Alerts and the SEC Capital. You guys are great on Instagram. Make sure that everyone that is listening, you are following them on Instagram right now. Go do it while you listen. If you're driving, please stop before you go follow them on Instagram because we promote safe driving here on the back porch. Next one, let me pull this up for a second and talk about the card. Last year I did not have a great week one. I think I went 20 plays a week last year on the card, but this year I'm going 15. I don't think I went conservative, but I will say that I had some great plays. I did take some underdogs. So I'm gonna pull that up right now. Shout out to the YouTubers. We are going back to the Instagram. Make sure you can see this on Instagram. It's on Facebook. It'll be on Twitter. It's everywhere on my card. So here we go. Utah minus 4.5. We already talked about that. Nebraska plus 7.5. Those were the early week games. Tennessee, I got it at minus 28. So that was awesome. TCU, Colorado over. So that's 4-0. FSU, LSU over 56.5. TCU minus 20. The Dirty Dogs. I cannot believe TCU just came out and laid an egg. They looked slow. Colorado looked fast. Shout out the MAC offense transferring to Colorado. That was awesome. Nevada plus 38. Didn't think that USC was going to be able to play defense, so that's why I had Nevada cover and over 65.5. They lost by 45, so that sucked. Bama's minus 39. That was easy. Penn State minus 20.5. Got off to a little rough start, little special teams issue for the Nittany Lions up there, but they ended up covering. Uh, Shout out, that was the backdoor cover with like 8 seconds left. So shout out to the Penn State offense for pushing that last touchdown in. It was kind of a petty touchdown, but I am all for that here if it benefits me. FSU plus 2.5. I loved it. I thought Jordan Travis was a dude, and I think he showed that he was a dude. Brian Kelly gave all the momentum to uh, FSU early in that game. The first two plays, he went down to the 5 yard line, and then I think he got 7 plays after the personal foul at like the 5 yard line when it was just a really bad call, and he just went for it again and got stuffed and stuffed and stuffed, and then calls a timeout on fourth down, doesn't kick the field goal, and then gets his guy sacked at the 20 yard line. Jaden Daniels has gotta score the ball there. So luckily that happened and FSU just kind of ran with it. Clemson to minus 13.5. Right now, it is not looking good at all. It's 7-6. We're about a minute until halftime, and it looks like Duke's uh going to score here potentially. So that's probably not going to hit. Clemson Duke over 55.5. Think we're going to need a miracle there. Tulane minus 6.5. We already talked about that one. They cover easily. And then Oklahoma State, San Jose State over 55.5. That hit as well. So those were the 15 plays that I had for uh, for the card. So overall on the year, I would have to check the record, but check tomorrow. We will have well, right now while you're listening. We will have that finished up for you. And maybe if you are in a state that you can legally place wagers, not saying that we are legally placing them or illegally placing them, but we have plays for you. We have plays that you can make money You saw it on Instagram with the other guys, the Hokie Alerts, SEC Capital. There's plays there to make money on. 9-4 from the back porch, 4-0 from the collabs. Just absolutely incredible. You can make some real money if you are following us. We are not held responsible. We are amateurs. We don't get paid for this. Hopefully, you are getting paid to listen to our picks, but that's not the deal here. 1-800 gambler if you have a problem. So after we talk about those plays, I'm gonna transition here into some stock up versus stock down because week one we're not gonna overreact to things, but we are going to because we're football fans and we have emotions and emotions run high in week one. So I'll start with some stock up. Stock up, Coach Prime, Colorado. Uh, Coach Prime had those boys ready to play. They played hard, they played fast. Travis Hunter is a dude. Hand up, I didn't like Travis Hunter. Uh, I saw that he announced that he was gonna do a Monday morning football show with Bleacher Report. I was like, "What is this guy doing?" Like, he's gonna play both ways. He's gonna be on Bleacher Report. Like, what are you doing? Like, go to school, go play football, focus on what you got to do. No, Travis Hunter came out. He balled on both sides. I think he played like 120 plays. He was making plays on defense. He was catching balls on offense. Could have had a couple touchdowns on offense too. That were balls that we just missed. But the stock couldn't be higher for Coach Prime in Colorado. That's a huge miss by a lot of people. Uh, I'm not going to buy the Colorado hype just yet, but Colorado is must watch television every Saturday from now on. They play in our preview for week two. We'll talk about them, but they have Nebraska next week, and that's a noon game, and that is must watch television, must see TV. Coach Prime and Colorado. Stock down. This one is a little towards home for me. Stock down. Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord looked bad. It was the first time since for in like 30 years that Ohio State didn't score. Didn't beat Indiana by 30 or something like that. It was a crazy stat. First time in 30 years. That and it was horrible. Devin Brown was supposed to play. Ryan Day said after the game that he didn't want to get into a situation where they were in a dogfight in that game and is absolutely embarrassing for a team that's ranked number 3 in the country. I think FSU should jump them. I think Devin Brown should be the starter. I don't care if it's Youngstown State, but if Kyle McCord plays quarterback the way that he did for the rest of the season, Ohio State will go 8-4 if they are lucky. That is not hate. I love the Buckeyes more than I love a lot of things in life, but he's just not fit to play quarterback right now. He's been there for a couple years. I know he was behind CJ Stroud. I know that there was a competition this spring and this summer, and they didn't name a starter until last week on Tuesday before the game. And that tells you everything you need to know about how this competition has gone at Ohio State. And they're going to march on their way to South Bend, and Notre Dame's going to go kick their ass if this is how they plan on playing. There's no excuses. The offense has shown under Ryan Day that they can score a lot of points against a lot of different teams. Doesn't matter if they are in the Big Ten or if they are in the college football playoffs against Georgia. The quarterback has to play better than what Kyle McCord played like last week, and that's just the peanut butter and jelly on the sandwich. It is clear cut as day that Kyle McCord's stock has never been lower, and I don't know if he will get another opportunity if Devin Brown starts this weekend for Ohio State. And I know it's against Youngstown State, but if he comes out and is in a rhythm on offense and he's connecting with Harrison Jr. and Kate Stover and Emeka Ibuka, Kyle McCord might never see another game at Ohio State. And that's unfortunately that's just the way that the cookie's going to crumble. And see in the transfer portal. Uh, that's all really have to say. It's a frustrating topic as a Buckeye fan, but it's a real conversation that needs to be had for the Buckeye quarterback situation because you only got a couple more weeks until you're marching on into South Bend. And I tell you what, that Notre Dame team, they remember what you did to them last year. They had a chance to beat you. They could have easily beat you in Columbus. If you don't think that they're ready with Sam Hartman this year, the Buckeyes got something else coming for them because They ain't gonna like Penn State is ready, Michigan's ready, Wisconsin's ready, everyone's ready. They're coming for you. They don't want you to make it back to the college football playoffs, and they will do everything in their power to make sure that that doesn't happen. All right. Enough of the Kyle McCord rant. Stock up Jordan Travis and FSU. What a game by Jordan Travis. I told everyone last week that he was a dude. I thought he was ready for the game. It helps that it was a neutral site against LSU in the state of Florida. Uh, Jordan Travis is incredible, and they got a couple of those wide receivers for him uh, that were making plays for him, but Jordan Travis making plays with his legs, extending, throwing really, really good balls. He made some really dumb decisions, like the screen pass interception in, I don't know if that was the first quarter or the second quarter, um, but that was a really, really dumb play. But he rebounded very well from those mistakes, and he didn't let it affect him the rest of the game. And he was very, very efficient. I think he was 23 of 30, 23 of 31, but he was very efficient that night. He really didn't leave any questions who is the best quarterback on the field last night, Sunday night against LSU. And for a team that has championship aspirations, for a team that beat Alabama last year, Brian Kelly's got some soul searching to do. I know that he is very upset with the way that they performed. They got shut out in the second half. An LSU team gets shut out in the second half. That hasn't happened in a hot minute, especially between BK and Coach O. It's been a while since that has happened. I don't know when the last time it did happen, but it couldn't have been recently if I remember their offenses correctly. So Brian Kelly, I mean, I know it's a big test week one, and I don't want to say that LSU season's over, but you're gonna have to pitch a perfect game the rest of the year. Um, it should get easier than playing a top team like that, but I don't think that it gets easier for them. Speaking of not getting easier for a team, stock down UF and Billy Napier. Last year, beating Utah early in the season, AR-15 had the game of a lifetime. The game in the swamp was back and forth. Uh, UF kind of really had them right where they wanted them. There's no excuse for UF to play as poorly as they did. I think they were 1 for 14 on third down. They had a penalty where they had the same two guys on the field on punt return wearing the same number. Every time that they got in 3rd and 1, there was a false start, illegal formation. They couldn't line up properly, and Billy Napier had a backup quarterback, um, in Utah just ready to feast on them. You had a guy that has had 3 years of starting experience in Graham Mertz, come into your program and play quarterback for you, and you had Utah on the ropes because of, their quarterback situation and not having Cam Rising playing. And to let up a 70-yard touchdown pass on the first play from scrimmage for Utah, it just set the tone for the rest of the game, and they just played so sloppy throughout the rest of that game that it didn't matter what they did. They couldn't do anything right. I tell you what, that's a long plane ride from Utah to Gainesville. I know that they stopped in Dallas because of the hurricane, but I don't think they were stopping in Dallas on the way home because they needed to get back to Gainesville as soon as possible and get on the practice field that next day because that stuff needs to get cleaned up if UF is going to have a chance at making a bowl this year. And yes, I'm talking bowl like the UF schedule is very, very difficult the rest of the way, and 6 wins is gonna be hard. That was a game that UF should have stole, and they had every right you have every right to be mad about how UF played if you are a Gators fan, because that was embarrassing for that program, and I know it's gonna take some time to rebuild on what has happened, at UF over the past couple years, but to go out and lay that egg, on Thursday night on ESPN while the whole world is watching you, you are the kick one of the kickoff games, probably the main kickoff game. If you weren't watching, it was because you had Spectrum and their issues came up. That's a topic for a different episode here, um, but if you're a UF fan, you have every single right to be pissed off at the way that that team played because it was unacceptable. It was sloppy. It was disgusting. It was a disgrace to what UF football has been in the past. And if you want to turn it around, you can't play like that and nationally embarrass yourself the way that that happened. Um, so that's gonna wrap up stock up and stock down. Moving on to a week two preview of the games. I just want to do a quick preview on a couple of these games. I know I want to keep these episodes to 30 minutes, and talking for 30 minutes alone is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. Nate and Jake and Ryan and everyone that's watching is probably like, wow, how can he continue to just ramble by himself and have a conversation? But that's just what I do. So please don't judge me. No, actually do judge me. I would love a little bit of feedback to make sure that I'm doing a good job here. This is just a little hobby right now, but maybe we can do it for real in the future. Um, I got the big game to finish up with, but let's start on the game that I touched on a little bit. Let's talk Colorado, Nebraska. 12 o'clock Fox, Boulder, Colorado. Man, the tickets for that game, the lowest ticket is $390 to get in. That tells you that Colorado is must watch football. You have Matt Rule coming in with a bad Nebraska team. Um, to Colorado. I wasn't big on Colorado. I think I had their under 4.5 wins this year, but they could be looking at 2-0 because um I don't know if that defense will be ready to stop that offense that Colorado is running, that MAC offense coming from Kent State for them. But they are must watch television, and at noon, I might be an Ohio State fan, but I will be tuning in to Colorado as well to watch that game because they are fun, they are electric, and they are indeed must watch television. A game later in the slate that everyone should have their eyes on because he's the former Heisman winner. He is him, Caleb Williams, and USC playing Stanford, 10:30 Fox. Um, it's just you want to see the Heisman campaign continue for Caleb Williams. It's really going to come down, can USC's defense survive the big game when they get into the heart of their schedule. There's a lot of good quarterbacks out there in Pac-12. We've talked about it before, but Caleb Williams trying to defend his Heisman. Must watch television, Pac-12 after dark. Luckily, it's on Fox, not the Pac-12 network, because no one gets the Pac-12 network. Um, Another Pac-12 matchup that you love to see, Pac-12 team, not a Pac-12 matchup. 7 o'clock on Fox right before that game. You'll flip this one back with the game of the week. Oregon, Texas Tech. I think Bo Nix is electric. I think that Tech is a team to watch as well. I love what Oregon does on offense, and I really do like Bo Nix myself. So that'll be fun game to watch. There's not too many ranked versus ranked games this week, but I think Oregon versus Texas Tech is a great matchup, and you'll want to tune into that. But don't go running away from the Alabama Texas game for the Oregon game. Just keep it on. Maybe turn it on at halftime. See what Oregon's doing because they are a fun team to watch. But the number one game obviously is the nightcap. It's the game day game. It's Alabama. It's Texas. This was the game last year that Quinn Ewers got hurt. This is the game where Texas declared that they were back last year, and they should have beat Bama. I know Bryce Young got hurt in that game, hurt his shoulder, and he wasn't really the same for the year. But Texas played a heck of a game. Texas can go make a statement here. They got to go into Tuscaloosa, which is obviously harder to do than letting Alabama come down to you in Texas. But you're on the road. This is the biggest test that Quinn Ewers has ever faced in his career. And I think it's a big game for his NFL draft stock. I think that he has to show that he can play big in these games. And I know he got hurt in last year's game, so I'm not discounting that he can't do it. But if you look at the schedule that if you look at the schedule that Texas has, if they can somehow sneak this game in, they got a couple. games left versus ranked teams right now. Oklahoma, Kansas State, TCU probably won't be ranked, but TCU is currently ranked in the first opening poll of the year, which is another conversation that we shouldn't rank teams uh, before like week 4, because like TCU just got mollywopped by Colorado, and now Colorado will probably be like ranked 15th just because of one win, even though they were on the outside looking in. It's just crazy. Um, but the Texas schedule is very easy, I think, the rest of the way. So if you can go in the Big 12 and you're 11-1 or 12-0, you're going to be looking right at the college football playoffs in the eye. And I think if they do win this game, that it is they control their own destiny to be the number 1 seed in the playoff by capping off a 13-0 season if they win the Big 12 title game. So big day for Quinn Ewers and Texas. Um, I d- will. I'm going to say it. If they win this game, Texas is back. That's a big statement, but if they can go into Tuscaloosa and beat Nick Saban, I will officially claim Texas as back. And I'm gonna wrap it up because that's a big statement to take in. So shout out to everyone that listened for this 30-minute episode. This is awesome, rambling for 30 minutes. I'm sure you're sick of me by now, but that's why I want to keep it at a respectable amount of time to listen. So thank you for continuing to follow. Thanks for the subs on YouTube. The Instagram content is just out of the world. Like shout out to Nate, he is so good on Instagram. So thank you all for listening again, and we will see you for an NFL um, an NFL show coming up this week. Plus, we have Back Porch Pick'ems later this week. We will be picking on ESPN. Make sure you enter the pool for college football pick'ems. I know you might be a week behind, but hey, come play with us. I think we got about 20 something people in the pool. Gonna be awesome. Let's see who can take home the prize. I don't know what the prize will be. Maybe it'll be something fun. Maybe it'll be nothing. Maybe you can come on the show and tell us that we suck at picking college football games. But enter into the ESPN. Link will be on Instagram for that. So make sure you are following on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, seeing all the content being posted because it's only week 1 of college football and we got more and more coming. Take care. Have a great day, everyone.